Hello? Hello, guys. Hello, can you hear me?
Good day, Mr. Chisi.
How's it, Clevie? You good?
I'm copying and you say,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Can you see what I'm sharing on the screen?
yes, I can, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Alrighty. So, yeah, sorry for being late. My thingy, what you call this, wasn't connecting my Microsoft Teams. So, I have a few questions from a few guys that I want to address before we move on today. So those aspects that I want to address is just basically based on this particular document that I have open. So I'm not going to say names, but the questions that I got in was the first thing. It was about JavaScript. Someone was talking about how we need to go back in terms of the JavaScript. And then another one was someone who was asking me about a question um, that's related to the design and asking me, is it really necessary for them to use these tools like React and Node and stuff? Okay, to make things short and precise, Node and React, they are meant to make your work easy, but only if you know how to use them and only if you understand the basics of JavaScript. So if you're struggling, and then I would rather say you go back and study more when it comes to responsive web design and work with the responsive web design part. There's nothing wrong with using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only just for you to perform your work. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you can, you do not even need to use these JavaScripts and stuff, but you will need MySQL or PHP if you're going to be using your app to, like, if you're going to use a database, obviously, then you're going obviously to need your PHPs and or your PHP, not PHP, sorry, my admin PHP, which is my SQL. You're going to need my SQL, or and then you're also going to need like a few other additional tools that you're going to pick up on the way. But it's not really something tough. So that is something that is doable. It's just that gives you a lot of work because almost everything you have to do it on your own. Like you have to like design everything on your own. That thing with React and Node and stuff, they simplify work because they're already given code to you. But now, if you are making use of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS only, then you're going to have a heck lot more work. But it doesn't mean that your work is going to be any different from what the other guys are doing. So again, I'm saying if you need to use Node, React, use them. If you do not need to use them, you are not obliged to actually use them. So feel free to use whatever means or whatever thing that you think you're comfortable with. I hope that answers that part there. Now, when it comes to the JavaScript part, so now let's look at this documentation that I've opened. So this here is going to explain a bunch of things that that I need to show you guys. So now, I'm looking at the very first part here. So now from here, now what we're looking at here is the basics of front end tech, or the basics of front end development. For you to understand front end development, there are things that you need to understand is one, HTML, the semantic HTML, like you need to understand HTML. And then you need to understand CSS, the basics of CSS. So which means basically you're going to also learn to deal with the layout properties. We have done this, the displaying properties. We've done with the float properties. We've done with the position properties. We've done all of this stuff. And then we went over and dealt with forms and inputs. We also did the forms and inputs. You still remember that when you're dealing with the forms, like how to get a form into HTML and things like that. And then next up, and then there's the basics of responsive web design, which is basically you understanding all of these concepts that we're looking at. And okay, sure. Thanks, Minya. Sure. Excellent. Sure. So sorry about that. So as I was saying, that you understand the basics of responsive web design. Now, for you to understand the basics of responsive web design, you need to take note of this, that all these aspects, when they are working together, they create this, the basics of web design. Like there is nothing that you can't do as long as you understand HTML, as long as you understand CSS. There is nothing that you can't do. You can do almost everything. And then for you now to be able to interact, because remember, this is responsiveness. This is your web, how the website is structured, how the website responds in terms of like pictures and things like that. How is it looking? How the content structured and stuff. That is CSS. And then now, when you move over, also like responsive layouts and stuff, like guys, like as I said, there are certain aspects that you are going to cover. There are certain aspects that you still need to learn, because you will never learn an entire language, even in a year. Like I've been coding in Java since high school, of which now this year I think that'll be, because I've been coding Java since I was like 15. Now, which means that would be what 13 years now. I'm coding Java, and if I would tell you something, technology changes almost each and every year or 2 years. And then the time when I started coding Java, we were using Java 7. Now we're sitting on Java 12. And then now, because of all that stuff, Java has been changing throughout. So there's certain things that they're adding in. And in those years that I've been doing that language, I still learn new things. Even today, I still learn new things. Same applies with JavaScript. JavaScript, if there's one language that always surprises me, is JavaScript. Like if you go and watch tutorials and stuff, you notice that there are certain things that you've been doing, and then someone comes and shows you a certain tutorial, and oh, there's this thing here, and then you discover like, oh snap, I didn't know that. And then besides that, there's also features that are being brought in time and time again, and no one teaches you that. All that you learn through documentation. So if you are really interested in a programming language, you are going to take time to invest beyond class. What exactly? Okay, in class we did this and that and that and that. What exactly is there? Can I simplify that code that I was given? Can I make it simpler? Is there a way for me to rewrite that code? Is there a way for me to change particular aspects of the code? You see, so man, because of that, you notice that learning a programming language is a process. It's not something that you're going to learn in 2-3 months and then you're done. No way is this. It's impossible. You can't learn like that. Even seasoned professional right now, you go to any company, you've got those guys that are mentors that have got 20-30 years experience in any programming language. They are still learning also as well. They are also still doing certifications as well, because it is necessary. It is necessary for them to do that, for us to do that, because it's like we learn each and every time. So you will not learn everything in a period of time. So hence, there are certain things that you're going to discover, and then you discover, and then you build from there. But the most important aspects that you need to understand is this. Now, introduction to JavaScript. Notice there's programming in JavaScript, variables and data types. We've done this. Functions, we've done that. Strings and numbers, we've done that. Introduction to arrays and objects, we've done that. We've worked with arrays, we've worked with objects, we've worked with the variable types and scoping. And then we've worked with OOP principles when it comes to JavaScript. We've done all that. Hence, as I'm always saying, basics, 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 basics. Always go back to your basics. Each and everything that you see is always taken from the basics. There is nothing that is new that is being brought in that is not taken from the basics. As long as you understand your basics 100%, trust me, there is nothing that they can, because now whenever they bring something, you can easily interpret it because you understand the basics. Hence, you need to go back again, go and visit variables, go and visit go and visit the variables, go and visit the data types, go and visit the functions. Because if you remember very well, OOP is actually based on functions. It's based on variables. It's based on objects. You see that? It's based on things that already you have done. When you're working with strings and numbers, all that part is part of data types. The arrays and objects, all of these items, the objects that are used for mostly in functions. They work with functions, they work with variables there. See, so every time whenever you're working with coding, one thing that you need to understand is it always starts from the basics. There's nothing that is built from just the air. Everything comes from the basics. Hence, I'll come back and say this again. As long as you understand your basics, you are fine. There is nothing that will bring that you wouldn't know. But now, get this part. Right now, the Java version that we've been using and that is widely used currently in the world is called ES6. That's one that we've been doing all this time. Now, they are adding a new version of Java called ES7, which is they are starting to phase it in bit by bit, but it's not yet like cemented. So there are certain features that you find that are actually in ES7 that are not there in ES6. So hence, now we'll go back and check. Okay, how then do we work when it comes to using JavaScript? How do we apply the principles that we use? Which JavaScript version am I supposed to use? It doesn't really matter whether ES6 or ES7, as long as it is able to do. And nice thing is these versions here, they are interoperable because the ES7 has been built on ES6. So all the features, that are there in ES6 will work in ES7. All the features that are in ES7, when moved to ES6, they might give you maybe 1 or 2 bugs, but they are fixable because it's simply a matter of conversions. So, as I'm saying, like, remember, it's always about the basics. If you go back to the basics, you understand. So, HTML, the basics, CSS, responsive web design. Like for instance, last time there's a website that was designed by, I think was it Troy? Yeah, it was Troy. The website that he did. So he actually applied a lot of principles of responsive web design there in that website. I don't know if he actually noticed that, but he actually did. So now, one thing about responsive web design, what you're talking about here, we're talking about designing your website or your web app in such a way that it actually responds to the screen size and the device. Just give me a second. Mr. Nemkula, he's coming back, and I think because laptop and yeah. So, bengicela ungangilocate because I'm still here. Oh, is it? Akangitsheli. Sorry? Okay, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, so now I think I've addressed some of the issues that some people had questions on. So if you have any questions, can you please ask those questions so that we can see if we can address those questions or not, right? Right now, when based on this information there.
So I don't have any questions at the moment. The only question
okay.
that it was the one in the morning.
You're breaking up, my man.
I'm saying I don't have any questions at the moment.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think the one in the morning.
Oh, okay. No stress. I hope I've answered that part though.
Was good.
Okay, so if there's no questions now, one thing there, Troy, what's up? Troy. Yeah.
Yes,
What's up,
sir.
Troy? What's up, man?
Nothing much yourself. Nothing much yourself.
I'm good. I sent a link on the chat, ne? That
Okay.
gives you to the JavaScript, what you call
Uh,
documentation, and then it has
oh,
documentation for a lot
yeah, documentation. Sure.
of JavaScript, yeah. So you can just go through that and you check there,
Yeah.
and then it shows you how to do. So anything that you ever need, you just go there and then you click,
Yes.
and yeah, and then it will show you how the code works, how it's supposed to be declared, and it will give you
Yes.
explanation way in detail more than what anyone can actually teach you.
Yeah. Because my
Yeah.
confusion was actually based on that, on how to deploy a code on JavaScript in order for certain button to work or to interact with other link that I've created. So yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it, and because there are certain functions that I think I might have missed in terms of that. So I was also, going through the React part.
Okay,
So
I
yeah.
know React is a little bit is something a little bit different, and React you need to be careful, ne? Because React is written
Yeah.
in two languages. There is JavaScript, there is TypeScript, so you need to be careful between the two. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, because
I
some of
think
it
I
is
think my
written in
confusion might be
TypeScript.
based on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you need to be careful there. So if you're using
Yes.
either
Yes.
TypeScript or JavaScript, so now it is up to you now for you to actually master whether you're going to prefer to use TypeScript or you're going to prefer to
Yeah.
use JavaScript. So that is up
Yes.
to you
Yes.
there. Yeah, but TypeScript is basically a version of JavaScript, but it's
Oh,
just like Java and Kotlin, which is basically the
Oh,
same thing but just written a little bit differently. So TypeScript
mm.
is a simplified version of JavaScript.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think okay. I will ask the question later on. Let me not bombard you. Let's
Okay.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Cool. No
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
Chapter. Okay. So yeah. So far, so if you just go through the documentation, guys, it's going to assist you to understand certain things, because documentation also comes with explanation as to what each and every piece of code does. So if you go through that particular documentation, I'm pretty sure you are going to be sorted in terms of any questions that you might have, especially in terms of code behavior and how your code interacts and things like that. So yeah, for now, I think we sorted here. For now, I think we sorted here. If you guys have any questions, as I said, that you can ask them, yeah, and then we will see. So in these versions of JavaScript, just go and read more, like especially on ES6 and ES7, just go and read a little bit more so that you can get a better understanding outside of my own voice. Like every time when I keep on saying something, it's always good sometimes just to go, and listen to what other people are saying as well, like as to what, especially the original owners, the original writers, what exactly they mean by that. So it's always good to actually just go and read their documentation so that you can get a better understanding of what it is that they actually mean. So yeah, on this note, so I will now look at this aspect here of the app that I was dealing with. So anyway, now I said that I wanted to build an app. So I was torn between building that transport app thingy that we had started and creating something simpler, because that one is going to take time. That's the thing. So I do not want something that is going to take time and cause further confusion and stuff. So, and then I decided to build something simpler, which is like a payroll system. That is something that I've actually decided to do, like to build something simpler like a payroll system. So that is what I am going to actually do. That is what I'm actually going to do. So we are going to start from there. Now, so starting here, and for me, as I said that, guys, you are free to make use of just JavaScript, CSS, and like to use JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. You are free to do that. So now, if I will, I'm trying to think if I can do something, show you something like that, but I've shown you something like that before. I'll show you something like that I've built like before. Remember that first app that we actually built together in class? We actually did that. We actually went through, I'm trying to open my Visual Studio Code here. App of mine has got a tendency of slowing down my computer most times. So as I was saying that I've already shown you how to go through that whole process of Okay, let me just do it properly. Of how to create an app using just HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. It's not very practical. It's not very conducive, but it actually does work. It actually does work. So do not be, buy into the whole hype of making use of these tools that you actually don't understand. So don't worry about that. Okay, so I want to share my other screen. Okay, and to share the commands. I hope you guys can see that. So in the command screen here, I want to build my app there. So as I said, that I'm simple building like a basic app there, and then yeah, and then so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set up as you're saying the environment, and then after setting up the environment, and then we're going to start with the actual app there. So now okay. So you guys can see my screen, I hope. So CD, okay, I need to copy this and paste it because I do not have time to be busy typing it. Okay, and then npm init.
Oh, Mr. TC,
Yes, sir.
sorry to disturb you. But I was on the portal and I saw that some classes are not uploaded. Can you please assist with that?
Come again.
I was on the portal and I saw some classes were not uploaded. Not sure if it is possible to assist us with that.
Oh, okay. I will just have to ask Mr. Bonello to do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll ask Mr. Bonello to do that for you. Okay, so you notice there, so here I was initializing the app there. Like there's nothing new here. You guys saw us doing this last time. So we check the version of Node that we have, because we need to have Node installed. We need to have a version of npm installed, and then npm comes with Node, by the way. And then from there we created a directory there, which is payroll system backend or front end, whatever. And then there we still have that. So now we have got that. And then from there, but I haven't created the database yet. So which means that database needs to be created. That database needs to be created there. So now I need to do this here. I need to set up the what you call the front end part here. I need to to set it up, this whole front end part there, like the same way that we did last time, which is basically us, connect, like I need to connect that, and then from there, and then I'm done. So let me do this. Let me install what Express MySQL action, npm. So guys, for much of the work, you can go through the documentation, but I haven't started coding here. This is just me setting up the development environment, so that whenever we start, and then we can always, whenever we need to start, then we can always start, which is either today, tomorrow, whenever we finish our. Okay, I'm getting some errors here. Whenever you finish setting up, and then we can always do that. I'm getting some errors. Actually, there's a problem with the back end here. There's some stuff that I need to start up. Okay, it's not a trend smash. So anyway, let me do this. Okay, back, and then know how to create a React app if you're using React. If you're using HTML and CSS, quite simple. You know what to do. You just open your browser and you start it. System. Oh, okay, my spelling is wrong, but yeah. I hope my screen is visible from your side. Can you see my what you call my command screen? minutes. Yes, ma'am. Slow this thing today. Ah. So while it's waiting for this thing to finish, because it's taking its own sweet time here. I'm building the app that I'm building. I'm going to build it on as I said, I'm going to build it on what you call this, on React, and then the front end, and then the back end, I'm going to use Node.js. And you notice that one thing that's common throughout is the use of JavaScript, because it will be primarily JavaScript for most of the code. And then obviously we're going to have a bit of HTML and a bit of CSS, even though CSS will be more interesting CSS, unlike the previous CSS that we did that had, where we had to code for each and everything. Now CSS is going to be more simplified because I don't have to code for each and every line, literally. Because that one was a little bit more, it's very, very, very tedious. Oh, okay, it's almost done. So there we go. So if there's one thing, guys, that I'll tell you and be honest with is, it takes work for you to build anything. And I know you guys are going to have, a bunch of sleepless nights here and there, but you'll be fine as long as you just put in the work, because that's what is important here. It's just you putting in the work, not just because you want to, but because it is something that you have to. Okay. Now I need to run this code here. I'm going to copy and paste it. Then I'm going to note that I'm going to open this on Visual Studio Code. Code dot. I open it on Visual Studio Code, and then from there we can start with coding. So just gonna go through. I'm pretty sure there's nothing that you guys do not really understand here. For those of you that have gone through a little bit of what you call YouTube, and then I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't be surprised. There's nothing really new here. So there we go. Payroll system, and then almost everything's here. I'm just waiting for it to start populating, and then we can start. And then I just need to reshare the screen, stop sharing, and then now I'm sharing the Visual Studio Code screen. Okay. See, today I only have one computer. There we go. Okay, think we sorted. Okay, there we go. So now what the very first thing that we need to do here is npm. That is the very first thing that we need to do, is to start npm. So I'm going to open the terminal, because that's what we've been told to do. Open the terminal. There's the terminal there, new terminal, and in that new terminal, then I've been told, okay, waiting for it to load. because from the, if you check from the command there that we wrote, so we had that cd there that we were told to do, and then the next thing is npm start. We need to start npm. Just waiting for it to finish uploading. Come on, really? Yeah. Okay. Okay, what is I'm waiting here for this thing to open up, ne? Now notice here, we've got the files here that are open here. We've got node modules. This is where you're going to put most of your, this is where most of our node modules are. And then as I said, you don't need, like these ones here, you don't edit as of yet, you don't touch. Because if you notice there is your CSS and there's node colors and stuff like that, we don't touch this part here. So let me scroll up. So we don't touch the modules. And then there's the public. Public is what people see. Like for instance, the on your website there, most of the stuff is written here. But all your code is written under SRC here. Notice there you've got your CSS there, you've got index.css. You see that works for that. Then you've got your app.js, apptest.js, and your index.js. You've got, you see, notice all your JavaScript code is actually here. This is where you get all of your JavaScript code there. So now on this here, so I want us to carry on from there. I want us to carry on from there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the certain aspects that of certain things that we have. So now, as I say that on your I don't know why this thing is refusing to work, man. Like it's taking so long. So as I said, like all of this is where most of your JavaScript code is going to be. Most of your JavaScript code is going to be here. Even your CSS code is going to be here. This is where almost everything is going to be. So we're going to be working in the SRC folder. This is where we're doing most of our work. I'm not saying that we're not going to work here in the public folder. We are going to work, but on a later stage. But this is where we're starting, because we're starting with the JavaScript part. So that is where we're starting. So I'm going to open app.js, the code there for app.js, and then I'm clicking on it. Notice here, now this here is basically the app, whereby it tells you that there's a function. It's JavaScript code. So you imported certain things. One, we imported a logo from a file called logo.svg, which is that particular folder there. .logo.svg, and then you also imported CSS code from app.css, which is that CSS code there, so that this code here can actually work for that. And then also you've got index.js code. So I'm going to go through these lines here. So index.js code, this one here we do not really touch much. So we're going to add a few things, because this is where you've got your React DOM here, and then where you've got your root folder and things like that. So, but now, if ever we need to work, which means we need to add a certain folder, like here, we need to add a certain folder for us to actually start with our with our work. We need to add a folder there. So so this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. So I'm going to edit a few things here. One is I'm going to go to that JS folder, and then I'm going to edit it. So let me edit that JS folder, the index.js, this one here. So let me edit it, because I just want it to look like something that I actually want to do. Because right now it looks like the app that was pre-designed for this. So I'm going to delete everything that is inside here, because I want to edit it. Should I delete everything? Okay, let me just delete some, and then I'm going to edit as we go. So this is just to show you that we're basically starting, and where we start, we always start from, you know, that. And then now when you open that, we say that the index.js component is basically the main component, which is your entry point to your app. That is your entry point to your app. So if you need to edit, you can edit it however that you want. You can edit however that you want. So I don't know what name that you want to give it. Whatever that you want to do to the particular app. For instance, let's say for myself, I want to say I want to write a certain message in that index.js thingy there. So now already React has been imported, so I'm fine with that. And then I've got my index.css, which is that CSS folder there. We've got app from the app. I don't really need those, but I'm just going to leave them on for now. And then from there, and then I'm just going to write, maybe let's say a function. And then now you notice the function. This is me basically writing a function in Java. So function, let's say in JavaScript, sorry, let's call this function here. Let's say I want to greet people. Function greeting, and then like that. And then my greeting is going to come in between there. So which is whatever that I need. Okay, I need to set parameters. In this particular function here, I want it to return a heading, and then there I want to say maybe welcome administrator, or let me just say payroll for app. Payroll app for For instance, let's say extensive. This is our payroll app for Extensive Academy. So that is the greeting there. So that is what I want to show at this particular time there. And then from there, the next thing that I need to do is just to export it, isn't it? That's what I simply need to do, just to export it. So I need to export that greeting there, which means underneath here, export greeting. Greeting is it just, oh no, something missing here, default. So I've exported that default greeting here. So technically, you notice this is a function that I wrote, and then that function has got a parameter, but the parameter has been written inside of the function there that is supposed to return a certain heading called payroll app for Extensive Academy, which is a greeting. You notice if I go and open here the index part, in the index part, like the index part here, this just shows you. Notice there is sort of a relationship. Okay, not that. And then you've got the body, title, app, and stuff like that. No. So this here is basically the HTML part of your app. That's why I was saying that whenever you're dealing with your app, there are certain aspects there of HTML. Obviously, there's going to be aspects of CSS, which is these items that you guys see there. And then you're going to have your application, obviously, as always. And then that gives you like certain elements. But notice there, whenever you export the app, like for instance here, the app was exported from this code that was written here. And then when that app was exported, that code there was imported to the index.js. There we go, import app, which was exported, that was created from the other side there. So that is how these items are actually interlinked. So whenever you're working with your React, there is that element of you importing and linking, importing and linking, importing and linking. That is basically a part of JavaScript that we have to know and we have to master with time. So now, just give me a second. Okay, so sorry. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to edit a few of these things. Like the code is gonna have a lot of errors because we have a very long way to go. I just started here like with you guys today. So I'll also be working on it on my own side. Oh, finally this thing starts. npm start. Okay, then if I'll just open another terminal and then where I'm going to run the other stuff. Okay, so now what is I'm busy? What is this thing is busy running on its own? Then this side here, as I say that I'm going to edit a few things. Like for instance, I'm going to edit this app here because I need to, redo this whole thing here. I need to redo this whole thing here. So I need to edit this code. So let me delete everything that is in app.js here. Now in app.js, I'm going to obviously import. So I'm importing, what exactly am I importing there? Obviously, I have to import what? React, isn't it? Yeah, I have to import React from, remember, like from what? From React. So I just need to fix this part here. Okay, so I think done. And then I'm just getting is a declaration value is never read. Like we haven't used it, that's why it's just giving me that tiny error there that we have. So which is not train smash really. And then from there, and then I'm going to write a bit of code here. So now the code there is just gonna be a function that calls out the app. Basically, because this is the app that we're dealing with. So remember, I need to call it at the end of the day. So that function here is going to be what it is. So function app. So that's the name of my function there. And then because like that, and then it's supposed to return something, this particular function there. And then what it's supposed to return here is return. I'm going to put a parameter here. So because I wanted to return a certain parameter, but now the parameter is going to have a bunch of details inside. So what should I do? I'm trying to think here. Okay, let me not write a lot of things here. Let me just depreciate it or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. And then like here, I'm just gonna terminate that. And then inside here, I need to write some code. So inside here, I need to write some code. Remember, inside you always write code that is almost similar to what to like in this case here. Let me just that is similar to HTML. Sorry, that is I just wanna maybe let's say put a div class name is equals to app class name there. So this is what I need, and then done. And there, which means next up here, I need to import that up there. Or not import, I need to export it because down I export. So export default right. Okay, there we go. So we exported our app there. And then now there are two types of components when we're here in this thing. There are two type of components. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to create, let's say, a folder inside here in our SRC. I'm going to create a folder, right click, and then I'm going to create a new folder inside SRC here. And then I'll call it components. So this folder here is going to be holding all my components that I need. For instance, my components are going to make use of a name called .jsx. That is the components that will be making use of that. So of which I'm trying to, okay. So the component that I'm going to create here is like, it's going to be like, remember, I'm making a payroll app. So I want a component that's going to track the employees. Not like trackers and follow them up, but it's going to track like when they are coming in and when they are leaving, and then things like that. So I'm going to create a component like that. So now this component here, let me name it a tracking component. Let me say, because I'm tracking their time, isn't it? So I'll call it employee time tracking. Yeah. And then I'll let's say employee time tracking .js script. That, then this is the component that I have, and I'm going to write another component here. Or should I? Okay, let me just wait here, and then what I'm going to do is, I'm trying to see, should I just make it? Because the thing that I want to create now is a component that captures the name, the time in, and the time out. Simple like that. So that I can submit that form, and that form is going to, send the data to a server or a library in this case here, and then yeah, like that, and then which is basically sending to an API endpoint. So that is what as simple what to do there. So that is what I'm doing. So now, which means I need to create that component. But now I'm thinking, is JS better for me to create that component, or JSX? So I think it will be better, because JSX will just combine both the aspects of JS. And but anyway, it's at the end of the day, it's basically the same thing. So let me do that. Let me just change the name here, because most of the times you notice that okay, I've changed that to JSX. So it's renaming it. So like the whole exercise here, I want to show you how exactly JavaScript code works in this whole, exercise. I just want to show you how JavaScript works. And guys, because it's an app, there is no way you can start running an app and checking if it's doing what you want it to do at this time there. That this year will be a little bit difficult for us to do, but you can do that. My app is going to have a lot of issues right now, because I'm very far away from being done. But now notice employee tracking, time tracking. There we go. And then this is where this is the component that you actually have. And then now in this component here, I want to import, obviously, import React. Now, so React. Am I importing? Okay, so now we've imported our React there, and then now we can start with our coding there. So now, okay, what the hell? So now in the second part here, I don't need to deal with this. Now I need, remember what I need is I need to capture the what you call this, the name, and the time in and the time out. Those are things that we need to capture. So now we're going to make use of JavaScript for us to do that. So I'm going to define a function. Excuse me. Yeah. Strange. My computer is glitching. Function. So I'm going to define a function here. So now this particular function here, okay, so I want to give it exactly the same name. Okay, time tracking with a capital G, camel case, and then yeah, and then from there now, isn't I told you that we're making use of JavaScript to capture the information. So basically, which means we're basically doing the same thing that you've been doing in JavaScript, const. So, and then I'm putting a square bracket here. Can someone tell me what a square bracket is for? Employee name. Then that name there is going to set employee name. Okay. I think we're done here. I have an error here. You state is core function employee tracking that is in a React component. What? Okay, sort that out. That I have later. So yeah. So we've got that function there that we've just used, and then yeah, and then from there now I can what you call, just copy this and paste it, because that is employee name, and then I need the time in and the time out, so I have to press it in twice like that. Also, so now we've got employee in and time in and time out, right? So we simple capturing the information just like that. So now I just have to change the name here to time in, then set time in. Then here I have time out, then set time out. Yeah, like that. And then yeah, I think sorted almost. And then just have to sort out a few issues there. Okay, I've disabled those hooks there, so which is cool. These few stage hooks. So now from there, now I need to what, handle the name of the employee, and then let me say const. And guys, if you have questions, please ask. Now we're basically making use of, because what we're doing in class is we're learning JavaScript, but that wasn't a practical, because there's a difference between learning the language and applying it in real life. Two very different things. But it's easy to understand the code as long as you see it and you are able to interpret it because you have done it before. Than if you are meeting the code for the very first time and you have never done it before, and then that's a different case. But in this case here, it's quite simple to deal with because at least you have an idea of what a constant is, of what a function is, of what an object is, and then it's easy for you to actually relate to that. Employee change name. So want to see. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Employee name, say name change. So just in case the name of the employee changes. So now we want to be able to change that particular name without issues. So now, whenever you see this now, appears like it's a lot of work, of which I can say so, but not not so much really. It's just a matter of you understanding. Hence, I say go back to the documentation, and then it's gonna help you. Um, okay, so now what we simply did here was the first part here in the function, in this function that we have, the first part here, we're getting the name of the employee, we're getting the time in, and we're getting their time out. Second part is now we declared a constant that dealt with the change the name change of the employee. So what happens if the name of the employee changes? We need to be able to handle that. So that is what that code is doing there. and then which means also when it comes to the times that the employee comes in and leaves, also they're going to change. So we need to be able to handle that. So also we need to do that, and then we also need to submit that particular request. So that is what now I need to do there. The time in change and the time out change. These are the only things that are actually left for me to do. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to paste it also here. And then here I'll say, okay, instead of highlighting the whole thing, handle time in change, handle time out change. So those are the two aspects there. So set, okay, that's employee. This is set time in and set time out. Like that. Yeah. So now we have handled this particular request that we have. So we first got the information, and then here we're handling the changes there, and then from there now we need to submit. So for us to submit, we're going to also call a constant that is going to do that submission there. So its name is called handle. That is going to do there, and it's basically going to do the same thing. So let me just copy this whole thing here. Okay, this one is going to handle the submissions there, and then from there, how do we handle submissions? Instead of targeting, we don't target submissions, and then we use the same e.target. But value, but it's not value. Here we want to prevent. So we're not just doing just a target, but we want to prevent. Remember this thing that we wrote, prevent default, because we do not want to send empty values. So hence we have to prevent the default there. Okay, my spelling is somehow wrong. Correct now. Yeah, I think it looks correct. And then parameters. So this one here is going to prevent those defaults for being sent, just in case the form is not filled. But now, if you notice here, basically this is JavaScript code. We've been writing this code here, which is basically our JavaScript code. So now, I noticed this is not this is really nothing new, maybe except for this, but there's nothing really new. Everything else we have actually looked at here, we've actually seen, and then you say that we'll just keep on adding the stuff here. We just keep on adding things here. That's what we're simply going to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to design with minimum errors. So because I need to do that today, design with minimal errors, so that I can be able to show you at the same time while the screen is running at the same time. I can be able to show you like, okay, this is what we're working on. This is how it's supposed to look like, and this is how everything else like collaborates to create this particular thing here. So yeah, 1 minute. So guys, I don't know if this is a lot for you guys to take in, but yeah. So now you you can perform validations if you want and stuff. But one thing is we need to prepare the data that we're going to send in. So now to prepare the data, it's simple going to call back those items that we have declared there. So now what I'm going to do is this const, then data, and then from there, and then I call in the items, the data. Let's have to call in the items there equals to like so, and then employee name. So employee name, time in and time out, right? Time in and time out. And then terminate this part here. And then this one also needs to be terminated. And yeah, it should be set now. So you see that. So now what this simple piece of code here does is, let me just write it as a comment here. So this piece of code at the end here is simply going to prepare the data that is sent. So prepare data. Prepare data, okay, to send to the server. See that? That's what this piece of code simple is doing. That's what that piece of code is simple doing. So yeah, sorted now. Sorted. So I think now, I think I can end here today, and then tomorrow, and then we're going to simple continue from here now with something that is more durable, something that is actually running. So let me just go and finish up on this aspect here, so that we can you know, continue from where we left off. So are there any questions, any queries, complaints that we need to address? Is there anything that you guys need to say? Yeah, well, Troy, what's up, man?
Not necessarily a query per se,
Okay.
but yeah, I would like us to you see you explained, but hey, you know, before we
Yeah.
can touch on before we can touch on the app thing, like you
Yeah.
went through so many elements, like the app test, the index, so now I got confused. Index JS. Now I'm like, okay, like where are we? App SS.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think I got lost in the midst of things because you touched on the elements that were there, the fundamental elements that are there before
Yes.
we can literally go on the coding on the coding and functions and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I got lost in between there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me
But
just explain that part there a bit. But
yeah, please. The components, yes. I think yeah, that was a part that you were explaining, and then you see, that's the source folder. Is it a folder or what's going on there?
the source folder.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So basically, what happens is the source folder name, it contains your
My
default,
pages. Okay.
it's
Mhm.
default code, and
Okay.
all this code in the source folder, like for instance your app.css, your app.js, your
Mhm.
app.test.js, your
Yes.
index.css,
Yeah.
index.js, you need to edit that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
stuff needs this stuff needs to be, because the code, whenever you create a React app, every time you create
Yeah.
a React app, this is
Mhm.
default code that is generated for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, because it's
Okay.
generated for you, if you run it, it's simply going to write "Welcome to the React app." That's what it's simply going to
Oh,
write for you. Yeah. So now, if you need now to write your own app,
yeah.
now this code has to be edited. But my chat is here. Do not edit this code as of yet. Don't worry
Yes.
about this code as of yet. What
Yeah.
you should be worried about is your components here.
Okay.
Deal
Okay.
with your components first before you can come and start editing this code here.
Yes.
Yeah, because remember the index part is quite simple. It's your landing page, which is
Yes. Yes.
the page that
Yeah.
you already know. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
these others here, like and
Yeah.
then the index.js, obviously you know that it talks about basically, there's index.html and then
Yes.
index.js and then
Yeah.
index.css. They're basically doing the same job. It's just that three
Yeah.
different codes that is doing three different things. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they are all linked. They're all doing, like, for instance,
Yeah.
the HTML will show you the structure. What is
Yes.
the JS is going to show? The CSS is going to style the page to look kind of nice,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
JS is going to make you, when you press on a button or
Yeah.
when you move your mouse and then supposed to do
Yes.
ABC. Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
basically, yeah. So if you check there on your source folder, those are
Mhm.
the items that you have are basically default. You can change them.
Yeah.
Even the logo, you can change it. That is up to you.
Yeah.
You can delete, you can change this, but do not change it when you are starting. Do it sometime later. When, let's say, you know that, okay, now I've done my app. I'm almost
So you dragged this folder before, ne?
sorry.
Or did you drag this folder before? Did you go to, like, you designed the folder on your desktop and then you said it's a source, then it consists of those elements out there?
No. I didn't design the
Okay.
folder. Remember, I went
Oh,
to
all right.
the command, and then
Yeah, the command prompt. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, on
Yeah.
command, then I said
Mm.
create
Mm.
a React app called payroll. The moment that
Payroll,
I did
yes.
that, then
Mm.
it creates the folder for me the way it is.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is generated by React. It's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for
Oh, yeah.
me now, I added a folder called components, that is me, and then that
Mhm.
other JSX file that you find there inside, that is employee time, that is also me. And then I'm also
Yes.
going
Yes.
to edit some of these items when I'm done, and then that will be me. But
Mm.
for now,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
basic structure is given to you by React. And then from there, you're going
Oh.
to add the components that you need to add.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I know. I'm following nicely now. I know. I got you. I got you.
awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Sponelo must make sure that he uploads this one. It's very imperative.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
especially the command part, all the way
Yes.
to the linking to this Visual Studio Code and
Exactly.
these files. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this, yeah.
Yeah. Because my confusion was based on that, because I think my network was a bit slow. So I just saw bits and pieces. And next thing you're opening up some certain files. So yeah. Now I got it. All right. Yeah.
Awesome. No stress then. Like, if you have
So
any other
after
questions,
hmm?
sorry.
So after you're done with the employee time tracking, then it eventually it's going to update itself automatically. If someone enters his name or her name, and then now we know that he gets in at this time, and then at this time, then he gets out from the payroll, and so
E-
and so on and
e-
so on.
Exactly. And then
Oh,
because there's going to be another one that is going to do the calculations.
sure thing.
Yeah.
There's going to be another one that does the calculation.
Yes. I have to
Meaning calculating
include another
the time that you
component.
spend inside the app.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Okay.
hmm.
So I know we'll talk about this more tomorrow, and then I'll explain more.
Sure thing. Thank you, sir.
All right. Sharp, try.
All right.
Okay, guys. So if you don't have any further questions, then can we close the session now? Okay. So if there are no further questions, then we'll talk guys tomorrow. Cheers.
Goodbye, Mr. TC. Goodbye, colleague.